Hi, everyone. So happy to have you here today. Good time zone wherever you are in the world. And I'm so excited to have you all here today. My name is Gemma, also known as Games Mistress. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Games Master this morning. We're going to be playing some Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I'm going to let my players introduce themselves. Nev, did you want to go first?
Sure, I'm the Never Squid. You can call me Nev. Today I'll be playing Kiara, the spooky witch.
Awesome. Thank you. Forna.
Hi, my name is Purna. Today I will be playing Vera or Alonza, depending on how you know her. My character's pronouns are she, they, and my pronouns are she, her.
Thank you. And
I
Mari.
forgot to do pronouns. I'm so sorry. My pronouns are she, they. Kiara's pronouns are any except he, him.
Thanks. Mari.
Hello, I'm Mari. My pronouns are they, them, and I will be playing Pamela or Pam or Pestle Pamela, depending on how you know her, whose pronouns are she, her.
Amazing. Thank you. And we'll hear lots more from the characters once we introduce them. So today we are having an underwater adventure in the underwater sea area of a city known as the Queen's Key. And this is the Long Drink. So we're entirely underwater. So I just want to start out by letting viewers know that if you have any fear of things underwater, this might not be the one for you. You might want to leave a lurk and come back in a few hours. It's not horror. We're aiming for kind of like Saturday morning cartoon vibes. But if underwater stuff is not for you, this is not the game for you. We're keeping it at about a PG-13, but there will be some flirting and there will be some expletives every once in a while. So if that's not for you, also not the game for you, come back in a couple hours. So to set the scene, it is a beautiful day underwater. And this morning, the city is abuzz with word that Dorothy the sea monster has lost her eggshell. Not just any eggshell, but the beloved eggshell of her great-grandmother. Many, many centuries ago, her great-grandmother was born in a magnificent green and gold egg that swirled iridescent emerald when the sunlight danced over it at the bottom of the ocean. Matilda was the first of her kind, a great lizard-like sea creature who grew to be 3 times the size of the rest of her family. Born through the wish of her mother that her daughter could be large and powerful enough to guard the vulnerable seas from the dangers of invaders from the land, Matilda's size and magical powers had been passed down through the family line for generations until now. This egg, the symbol of that wish and the duty that their family now carries, is treasured by the family. And Dorothy's lost it. Her cousins Nessie and Ogopogo are going to be furious when they find out. So Dot is on a mission to find it before they find out. And these are the great friends of Dorothy who've assembled at the bottom of the ocean to help her out today. So who do we have joining us today? I'll let you decide who wants to go first.
Well, I guess I'll go first if no one else speaks up.
There we go.
Yeah. Pamela is there. She's probably vlogging because that's her whole life at this point. She's just recording videos of everything, everyone, mostly herself actually, but yeah. She is a specific special type of fire elemental whose fire only burns underwater in very, well, it's not special colors because fire can be any color really, but Pamela specifically is mostly, yeah, purple, blue, maybe a bit of green, very ocean colors, I guess. And right now she is probably recording herself while either waiting for the others or just, I don't know where the others are right now. I leave that up to those.
And can you tell me a little bit about Pamela's personality? So I know that she loves vlogging and she loves being involved in social media. What else is interesting about her? What else has she got going on?
She is easily excitable. She is always happy to help people, even if that's partially for her own social media, what's the word, clout, I guess. She may not necessarily be doing this only to help Dot because Dot is her friend, but maybe also because she wants that social media attention. And yeah, she is chaotic. I guess some of her friends, not sure if it's these two, and Dot, but some of her friends will probably tell her to stop doing stupid things for internet attention. And she's like, yeah, but you don't define these stupid things. What do you mean? Which of the things I do are stupid? They are not that stupid. I'm having fun. That's the most important part.
And considering that we are all over the size scale today, can you give us a sense of what Pamela is like in terms of, I know that she's fiery underwater in many ways. How big is she? What else? What is she? She's humanoid-ish?
Yeah, she's humanoid, does wear clothing. So she's not just fire, but she just wears colorful clothing. And yeah, she's about, I don't know, what's the word? She's human sized, about maybe a bit above average for whatever average is in this setting. But she is like normal human size, so to say. Not exceptionally small, not exceptionally tall. Somewhere in between, I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anything else you wanted to add before we, we'll obviously have lots of time throughout the session, but anything else you wanted to add now?
Not right now.
Thank you. Next.
I guess I can go next. So I am playing Alonza or Vera, depending on how you know her. Alonza means ready for battle and is a being that is half Iara and half Zinkibaru, so half Siren-esque Lady of the Lake and half Water Sprite. Because the playbook that I am using is the Naga, it is going to be a lot of going between disguised form and true form for people who are watching and may require some kind of explanation. When I have this, which is what is my low budget version of showing green hair is, then this is my performer form or one of my performer forms. And when I take this off, it is my true form when you can actually see Vera's curly hair. Vera has generally is seen in shades of green. In her true form has maroon eyes, is roughly the size of a large dolphin. And if you look carefully at her true form, the edges sort of disappear into the water. So the edges are smoky. And if you're looking directly at her, usually you will not be able to clearly see where she ends and the water begins. She is covered from the head to the tip of her tail in iridescent scales, which is what, again, this low budget thing is supposed to look like, hopefully kind of convey some kind of color. And when you're not focusing on her face, it seems to kind of blend into your peripheral vision. She has been separated from her home for a very long time, and because of the nature of the Naga, it's unlikely that she is going to go back. So she flits from place to place, trying to find a currency in information because of her ability to shift shape. But what she would love, as would all of us, is a sense of home. With the two of these people here, two of these beings, she has found some found family, some in more thirsty ways than others, but it's going to be interesting to find out how that plays out. I wanted to take a second and talk about what we in this game call strings. So strings are
I'm gonna just stop quickly there because I want Nev to have a chance to introduce her character, and then we'll get to strings, just so when we're talking about our relationships, the audience and all of us have sort of a sense of like who we're talking about. So we'll get to that, but I promise. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to say one more thing is that that Vera or Alonza generally is, when speaking to the wider group, quite aloof. With people she knows a bit better, she is warmer and more approachable. And that's Vera.
Amazing. Thank you. Nev.
Yeah, then it's me. So Kiara is a abyssal deep sea creature, and as deep sea gigantism is a thing, she is very, 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 very tall. She's about 20 feet tall. And she's still growing because giant squids can go up to twice that. But our dear GM asked me not to do that because it would be impractical for terms of for terms of being able to function in with the rest of the game. So that's perfectly fine. She came up from the very deepest depths of the oceans to see what's up near the shallows, see the sunlight, get to know new people, but as tends to be the case for people who are so obviously different, they have been bullied and not treated terribly well by a number of people, mostly because they're really big and unintentionally occasionally bumps into people or things and breaks things without really meaning to, because let's be honest, the city wasn't really built for 20-foot tall people. She, as a result, is very shy and does whatever she can to make herself small, including making her voice as soft as she can, but because she's so large, even when she speaks softly, it's pretty audible up to a pretty decent distance. She is a squid person, just like me. She has a humanoid top half and very, very, very long squid tentacles underneath. A large portion of her is made out of ink, so similar to Vera, she's sort of fuzzy around the edges where the ink sort of bleeds into the water. She is almost entirely pitch black, aside from the humanoid torso, which has a bright purple bioluminescence. She has clawed hands, and always on her shoulder sits a rainbow shrimp that is her little companion named Marcus. Well, I say little, but you know, he's about dog-sized, but to her it's very little. And she has found a family in Pam and Vera and Dot because she can relate to being large. Pam and Vera, she admires their confidence, their, you know, being able to be out there and not be scared of people and not making themselves small. And Vera in particular has been very defensive of her, which she very much appreciates. She has a great amount of admiration for the both of them.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we are playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is a powered by the apocalypse based system. And one of the mechanics within it is called strings, which is the idea of having a mechanic that plays with the idea of relationship. And so a string is something that shows, you can call them heartstrings as well, shows the connection between two players. Generally in Thirsty Sword Lesbians, you start the game by discussing the strings and assigning them. But because we're a little bit, have like a bit shorter session today and wanted to make sure that we had a chance to really talk about them in ways, because consent is really important. We can't have relationships without both people consenting that those characters are in those relationships. We did it beforehand. So I'm going to have the players talk about their strings now. And just for people, I think it's important to note that these players have all never played Thirsty Sword Lesbians before, which is awesome. I love new players. And that means we're all going to be learning together. And I'm not necessarily watching Twitch chat, but if anyone has any questions, they can put the questions in chat. They'll get to me. I'll help out with mechanics. And players are going to be asking how to do things along the way. And that's amazing. So that's what we expect today. So we're going to talk a little bit about the strings and what strings they've given to each other. To explain that mechanic, when you take a string on someone, it means you have an ability to give them emotional sway. When you gain a string on, when you give someone a string, sorry, it means that you're saying they have emotional sway over you. So that's sort of how it works. So what we're going to talk about is each player is going to talk about the strings that their character holds on another person. And then they become mechanical later in the game and are used that way. Vera, did you want to start with your character with your strings?
Sure, that sounds great. So Vera has given 2 strings to Pam because, is this a good time to mention how they met?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so essentially when Pam, with her incredible following on the undersea web, which is already impressive that exists. So with her impressive fan following on the web, was vlogging, and both Vera and Kiara were caught on camera, which is not necessarily to their liking. I will let Kiara explain why it is not to their liking, but for Vera, because they go from place to place, changing forms, and in general, being a spy does not play very well with being on camera, as you may have noticed from several. I'm basically the female Bond. So hence Vera stormed into Pamela's where she was hanging out and went, "What are you doing? Please cut out whatever part of that thing has my face on it. I don't want to be on camera. Don't delete the content completely, because that will raise questions. Just please, I don't want to be on camera. What are you doing? Neither of us have given our consent to be on camera." And in my mind, Kiara was standing there just going, "Yeah, exactly." But Vera was the one doing the, "Don't do this." And then eventually, I think because Pam was so lovely about it, was like, "Yes, sorry, of course, I should have thought of it," or something. Then it all worked out. Vera kind of calmed down and things. So Vera has given Pam 2 strings, one of her friendship, which is strong, and Pam is lovely and supportive and reminds Vera of her little sister that she's not sure she will ever see again. So they have she likes to tease her and also tell her off, as any good big sister, I'm sure, out there relates to this, should have the right to do. And she does also give Pam a string that is trust, that is not as strong, but is still there, because even though Pam might not intend it, she might end up capturing Vera or Alonza on camera, and that would be bad. Vera has also given Kiara 2 strings for more interesting reasons. Vera has recently discovered that she may have feelings for Kiara, and I think it's one of those things where Vera is fuzzy around the edges, Kiara is fuzzy around the edges, so Vera has discovered fuzzy feelings for Kiara, and has recently added a tattoo to her assumed form, which is way easier when you're a shapeshifter, by the way. Highly recommend getting a tattoo that way, that says "Bringing light to the truth," because of Kiara's bioluminescence, which is lovely and ever so enticing, and because Vera comes from the word for truth in many languages. So
Amazing.
string
Thank
bridge.
you. Kiara, did you want to talk about your strings, please?
Sure. Kiara has given Dot, Pam, and Vera a string. All more or less for the same reason. All three have been accepting and supportive and helping them feel better in their smoky skin. And helping deal with some of the weirdly thirsty comments that she gets on some of Pam's videos, because she doesn't really understand why someone 20 feet tall with a curvy body would attract that kind of attention, because in her mind, she's still small. She still has a lot of growing left to do. She could go up to twice that size. And she's just like, I don't really get it. This is awkward. I don't get it. And they have all been very supportive. Kiara is as of yet clueless to Vera's crush, but is slowly starting to develop feelings of her own, because Vera has been so helpful and defensive of her and so fiercely loyal and protective. And that hasn't really, since she has left the deep sea, that hasn't really happened. Because the people in the deep sea are very protective of her. They were worried that she wouldn't do very well up near the shallows. And so far they've been right, and that's why she doesn't really want Pam to put her on video, because then it would just prove them all right that she should go home, and she doesn't want to go home. And Dot has also just been one of the few people who can relate to being that size. So
It's true.
That's why all three have a string on Kiara.
Amazing. Thank you. And you're right. Dot is one of the few people who you would encounter who's even a bit larger than you. She is large and in charge in the harbors of the Queen's Quay, that's for sure. And on to Pam. Pam, can you talk about your strings?
Well, Pam, or I don't know, I might switch up between Pam and I. So I'm kind of referring to the same character, because I can't stick to either first person or third person, so it's always confusing for me. But yeah, Pam has given both Kiara and Vera one string, because they are friends. She likes them. She kind of trusts them, but not enough yet to show her true colors, so to say, seeing as she's a very colorful fire.
Absolutely. Do you all have any questions or things you want to add about the strings before we launch into the story? Okay. So we are underwater. The Long Drink is a fairly sizable underwater community that consists of lots of people, lots of different types of humanoids and creatures, and all along the scale between humanoid and animal and fantasy creature alike. There is a thriving area of nightlife with neon signs and lovely like pubs and bars and restaurants. There's also really quiet residential areas where people can have a lovely home amongst the corals with the fish. And it is, well, largely inhabited by those who, like yourselves, thrive underwater and consider the water their homes. Lots of folks from on land have also found various ways to move down below and thrive there, whether that be through mechanical or magical means of breathing. But it's a pretty mixed community in terms of there's a lot of variety, a lot of vibrancy, and provided that you come with a good heart, you can thrive there. Some with maybe less of a good heart thrive at times too. And that's why folks like you all are needed today, because Dot's egg has gone missing. So that's where we're starting today. You have been called together. Dot has summoned three of her friends to give her a hand, basically. But she's also kind of surprised at how many people know what's happening, and she's a little worried that maybe whoever has taken it or wherever it's gone, like something, a lot of people seem to know about it. She doesn't know how that happened. She talks very loudly. She doesn't quite know how that's happened. And so she's asked for your help today. And so we're starting the scene with you arriving, and you and Dot haven't, she sent a message along asking you to be there, but you haven't interacted too much today. So you haven't heard the full story, and that's sort of where we're starting. There we go. So you arrive. Dot lives sort of towards one area that's mostly her own, in that she doesn't have a ton of really close neighbors. But her home is a bit of a tourist attraction, like many things in the Queen's Quay, because it is large. It is surrounded by large corals. She has had roughly 250 years to assemble great rock statues that surround it, that depict other sea monsters in other areas that she all calls family and cousins. And there is a like a platform, basically a stone platform that the egg was sat upon that is now empty. And you arrive there to see her near that platform. She's about like, if we're looking at Kiara being about 20 feet tall, Dot is a little more long than tall, but we're talking like 30, 35 feet. She's a big lizard-like creature with a big sort of hooked neck. And she always wears big dangly earrings. She's always decked out in bright colors. She has taken to clothing very well. She loves like being accessorized. And the egg is gone. She's waiting, and she's so excited to see you. You can see on her giant face the relief the minute you all show up, because she's concerned. Oh my goodness. Thank you for coming. I have no idea what's happened.
The egg went missing, right? That happened?
Yes. So it was here, and now it's not. And I don't know, like I have no idea what could have possibly happened.
When was the last time you saw it?
Well, so yesterday we had a tour group come through. And the egg was there, and they saw the egg, and they all admired the egg. And then I went inside. I usually like to show off, I love to show off the sculptures and everything, and everyone comes by, and it's so lovely to see Trudy and her crew. And they admired everything. I went inside. I came out this morning, gone.
Pam, were you vlogging your usual moon day check-in with the undersea yesterday?
I mean, vlogging is, look, the social media is what supports me in every way. And I was indeed vlogging, but not around here. So I'm not sure if I have any
footage.
Any footage of, yeah. Sorry, I don't think I can help out with my vlogs this time around.
Do you know if it was still there after the tour group came through?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a big egg. I would have noticed the big eggshell. Like I would have noticed if it was gone, but then I don't know. I was kind of distracted. I was really excited because I was going to like go, and there was, anyway, I'm getting off track here. I don't know.
Who else have you told?
Well, I think a lot of people, because I came out and I was very upset, and I thought I was just telling my neighbor and asking in case, and I mean, you all heard about it, so maybe most of the Long Drink.
Oh, good. So not that many people then. So are these is this tour group still around?
Oh, the tourists come and go, but but I mean, Trudy's always around. She's around every day. She brings people through all the time. And she's around, but I don't know who any of the other people. Oh, well, maybe. No, maybe Brent was on that tour. Anyway, Trudy was definitely.
Okay. Dot, would you like to have some undersea tea and calm your nerves a little bit and tell us anything you might remember about the last time that you interacted with the egg with anybody else around, anybody else, and then maybe we can speak to Trudy if they're around. What do you think?
CT sounds wonderful. I am always into some CT, and I could set up and we could maybe call some people over and maybe have like a little no, we need to find the egg. But a tea party would be great. And so she like wanders into her home. She's quite excited to like serve tea for everyone. And she's left you all in the front garden, which is covered in seagrass, very well manicured, again, lots of sculptures. And people are starting to arrive. And she has absolutely caused a scene, despite the fact that she wanted to keep this on the DL. And so it's up to you to decide where you go from here. But she's inside. She's decided this is in your hands. She's going to have some tea.
Speaking of making a scene, we're only 30 minutes into this and we've just reached our first milestone.
Amazing.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the donations.
I believe it is 2 copies of, let me double check that I don't do it wrong. It is 2 PDF copies of Adventures in ADHD by Awfully Queer Heroes.
Yes.
Amazing.
And if one of my fellow mods would start the giveaway, then people can enter.
Amazing. Thank you. And thank you to everyone.
Oh, they'll sort it out at the break. All right. I'm sorry. But we've reached our first milestone, everybody. 30 minutes into the weekend.
Amazing. Yes. So Dot has wandered off into the house and has left you all in the nicely manicured front garden. Where do we go from here?
So I think given that Vera/Alonza is in her, well, I'm in my Alonza form, and I am naturally suspicious when out in such a public space. I think I would want to look around and see if I can see if there's anyone who seems to be paying more attention than usual. And I also want to keep an eye out for Nessie and Ogopogo. I think we would have interacted with them as well, right? If we know Dot.
You may know them. They are not local, so they are far afield. So Dot has chosen the Queen's Key as her harbor to safeguard through her family's abilities to do so. They have chosen other areas of the world, but word travels fast through the seas, and you get the sense that should these people arrive, you may have failed your attempt at keeping things quiet. So you may know them. They're probably not who you want to go to in this, but if you want to, we can make that happen. I'm fine to play a few of them.
No, I mean, at least not immediately. Thank you for that clarification. Maybe I think, so basically I think Vera would look around a little bit just to see if anybody is acting suspicious. She would, if Pam is capturing this for social media, she would be looking askance at Pam every time Pam comes close with the, doesn't this look suspicious, guys? And I think whenever possible, Vera/Alonza would also be stealing looks at Kiara, because what's not to love about looking at Kiara?
And what are the other two of you up to? How do you feel about this?
Pam,
Yeah. Oh. Who first?
you go. Go ahead.
Okay, I go. Okay. Yeah, Pam is definitely recording stuff for her vlogs, being like, hey, look, I am going to search for this egg, which has definitely not been stolen. Don't worry. It's not going anywhere, but it maybe Dot might have misplaced it. I don't know. We're going to look for it. She's trying to not be as suspicious about the missing egg, but it's like, yeah, hashtag not stolen indeed. Yeah. She's just recording, making sure that neither Vera nor Kiara are in the background of her recording, because yeah, they did not want to be on in her videos, so she is trying her best to not make them appear in her videos. Accidents might happen though.
Good to know. Kiara.
Kiara is gonna look around where the egg was and see if they can find any clues. Like, I don't know, footprints where there shouldn't be any, like behind the barriers, or fin prints or anything on the pillar, or something out of place that might suggest where the egg could have gone.
Okay. So while you are searching and trying to navigate this, a large mermaid comes through, and at this, like, large in this case, just because we're working with a lot of scales, I'm going to give some like measurements so that we have an idea of what's happening. She's about 8 feet tall or so, comes swimming in. She has brilliant blonde hair, deep dark skin, dressed head to toe in pink, and she comes in and looks at all of you and immediately notices that the egg, like, looks at the empty platform for the eggshell, and goes, "Oh my God, my egg! The egg is gone."
Your egg? Who
So
are
she
you?
swims over and she's like, "Hello, my name is Trudy, and I'm gonna be your tour guide. I mean, I'm it's a problem here, isn't there?"
Yes, there is.
Well observed, Trudy. Was it?
"Yes, Trudy, I'm the tour guide. I bring the tours through. This is my area, and I have spent a great deal of time in this area. But gonna
Um,
hmm,
Alonza Alonza looks sort of half glares at Trudy and goes, "And how long would you say you've been guiding tours through this place?"
oh, sweetie, it's been well, I mean, September, and then there was, like, 50 years or so."
Huh. Okay then. And have you ever, was there anything unusual about the last group you led through here?
Oh no, it was a lovely group. It had so I mean, it was full of folks, and we were all here. This was the last stop of the day, though. That was not usually how we do it, but we came through last night, and everyone was really impressed with all of the statues, and it was lovely. And we had everyone, and we were all I had my turtle out, Michelle. She's amazing. She brings around all of the tours. You see, she's my totally underwater remote tourist leisure explorer, and we put everyone on her and we take them around, and it was lovely. It was a lovely evening. There was a nice, the current was warm last night, wasn't it? Oh.
Mm. And
Do
Alonza
you remember any of them paying specific attention to the egg?
I mean, there was definitely a lot of chatter about the egg. there was one person in particular who really thought that it was, you know, gorgeous. Like she referred to it as like the most beautiful jewel she'd ever seen. So, you know, there was that. But also, you know, like it generates a lot of interest. It's a thing of heritage, you know. And so a lot of people are interested. There was also that Brent was on the tour list. I don't know why Brent was on the tour last night. He just lives around the corner, but sometimes I think he just likes to get bored, comes through. He was on the tour last night as well. Yes. And then there was this delightful couple. They were so lovely. Fred and Ted, I think, were their names, and they were wonderful.
Was there any, what made you change the way things are done usually and make the egg the last stop yesterday?
Well, there was this older woman, and she was quite tired. And so usually we end up in sort of the more party area and we want to go there. But she wasn't feeling it. And so the whole group just agreed that it was okay to kind of like change up the route yesterday. And so we just kind of went through the party district as a bit of a, you know, sightseeing tour on Michelle, as opposed to like an interactive moment. So we did that. And so we ended here because this is a nice quiet area, and we just dispersed, you know, shortly after.
Dispersed from here?
Yes, yeah. So and you know, like, well, I give them a bunch of coupons. You see, like, Trudy's tours have a selection of packages, and so one of them is that you get all of these vouchers for all of these things in the long drink, you see. And so I just give them these coupons, and then they can go wherever they want.
So I think at this point, Alonza would look at Pam as if to be like, do not start talking about a corporate sponsorship right now with the vouchers and the thing. Do not.
Okay.
So, but would you be, actually, that might not be the worst thing in the world. So I think Alonza would turn to Pam and Kiara and be like, maybe we can say that you want to do a special tourism vlog and like partnership, and then that way we can talk to the most recent customers, and that's how we can talk to people who were there yesterday. What do you think?
If those people are still around the Long Drink or Queen's Quay in general, then yeah, sounds like a good idea. I know some tourists only come by for like one day and then they go again. But yeah, we can try. I can try. Okay.
And Kiara, do you think this is a good idea? I know sometimes you have like these really cool ideas and you don't like, you know, tend to share them because I speak too much sometimes. But do you have any? What do you think?
I mean, if we're trying to investigate without seeming like we're investigating, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you think it's a good. Anyway, let's so turns to Trudy and goes, okay, well, what's the closest? Brent, was it, who lives around the corner and for some reason joined the tourism group?
Yeah, so Brent, he is he is lovely, and he really has we have some partnerships. Brent, he's got the Muscle Barn, which is this lovely gym, and a lot of tourists just really like to go there. You know, if they're keeping on their routine and things like that, they might want to go to the gym. So we do offer packages that include daily gym packages. And so Brent has the Muscle Barn that's just around the corner. So, you know, there's that. You're going to notice that she looks at Kiara for a moment and is like giving her like a good like up and down, and it's a lot of up and down because she's like, you're not quite from around here, but you're and so, sweetie, is there a tour group where you're from?
Oh, No, I live here now.
And so she's just going to ponder that for a minute. You live here.
Alonza takes a step towards Trudy when it looks like there might be when she's not sure whether Trudy's going to say something that will offend Kiara or not, but just sort of hangs around as like a pseudo bodyguard. Like, oh, I guess that's kind of okay as a question.
Yeah. Kiara is kind of clueless, and she's not used to the interactions in the shallows. in the dark deep, because their voices are so big and carry such big distances, they'll have maybe a conversation that takes an entire day, where they're just making the whale sounds at great distances towards each other. So talking to a lot of people in one day is kind of overwhelming for her.
And for many of us, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm totally not projecting at all. Not at all.
So Trudy is looking around. There's people sort of like around, and Dot is inside, like she hasn't emerged, and you all know Dot well enough to know that she may have gotten distracted by something else inside. Maybe not. You're free to go grab her if you want to, or not, whatever works for you.
I think maybe it's best if we leave Dot here. She seems a little high-strung at the moment. It might be better for her own mental health if she just gets an afternoon to drink tea and get distracted while we
Sounds
figure
about
out
right.
what happened.
CT is great for the nerves.
CT and Sudoku, what could go wrong?
CT and Sudoku. Enter the giveaway if you want to find out more about where you can find CT and Sudoku in probably future. So if we're leaving Dot here, and Trudy, you're going to hang around. You're going to be around, right, today?
At least for a little bit, Sunshine. I mean, we've got I mean, there's that tour. My sister might take that one. Yeah, I mean, I'll be ish.
Okay,
It's just-
well, if you happen to be around, because our friend Pam here would love to get you on her stream, wouldn't you, Pam?
Yeah. In case you haven't noticed my presence on, what's it called again, Fabu, I am, well, I would personally say I'm the hottest vlogger around, at least here in the Long Drink. She does like this to her fiery hair. And I would love to.
Her stream is lit.
It definitely is. And yeah, I would love to get some footage of what a tour around this part of the Long Drink would be like. Maybe to, I don't know, get us some attention to maybe your touring services.
Advertising, lovely.
Yes.
So Trudy is a light to play on your theme. Trudy is a light with this idea, thinks this is an amazing idea, and is happy to help you out in any way possible to get a little bit of free advertising for Trudy's tours. And she's in. You've won her over for sure.
So I think we would want to know, like maybe while Pam is capturing Trudy, talking a little bit about where the tour goes and stuff. I think if what Kiara and Alonza were looking for in terms of thin prints, or the latest in tentacle print technology, what it can capture, and what Alonza's looking for, the like anybody who is paying special attention or something like this. And then Alonza, who is a suspicious person by nature, beyond the 2 or 3 people that she trusts, would say that we should probably check out this Brent character at the Muscle Barn, which already inherently sounds like a suspicious place to be.
So as you are investigating and looking around, Kiara, did you want to tell me a little bit about, like, are you touching? Are you just looking? Are you investigating? Like, what are you, as you are investigating, what does that look like?
Well, because even though she's really tall, you don't need to stay vertical underwater, so she's just going upside down to have her face as close to where the egg was as possible. And because she gives off light, it shines light into all the little nooks and crannies as well. So if there's any dust or footprints or fin prints or anything in the corners, she's just looking. She's not touching right now. She just wants to see if there's anything beyond the barriers that the egg is behind that might give a clue as to who or what took the egg.
So I'm going to say that this is in order to navigate this, because despite the fact that Dot is quite large, this is her area. She knows it quite well. You don't know the layout of things quite as well, and there's a lot of statues and things around. So I'm going to get you to defy disaster in order to see how well you're maneuvering around to get in closer to amongst all of the things in the garden, how well you do in getting close to see what's up. And so defy disaster is like a capital M move. And what that is when you push the limits to achieve something that's not covered by another move, or to avert an imminent danger to yourself or someone else, which is you knocking over one or more of these underwater statues. Say what you're willing to sacrifice and pick your approach. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be either a grace roll, which is because it's, you know, about swiftness and movement that way. Or if you think it's another type of move, then you're free to tell me how that works for you and your character. And then I'll get you to roll for it.
Okay. I was gonna say if she didn't see anything just with her eyes, she would try and start using magic. But let's see, where did I put my character sheet thingy? Here. Grace, you said. All right.
Unless you think that there's another stat that makes more sense for Kiara in this case, because I'm always willing to entertain that.
I don't think so. I think navigating a space she's not familiar with would be grace. And I did specify that she does occasionally knock things over because she's not aware of the space. So I think grace works.
Yeah, perfect.
So that is an 8.
Okay, an 8 is a mixed beat. So in this system, a 6 or below is a downbeat. A 7 to 9 is a mixed beat, so like generally successful. And then a 10 or above is like an extraordinary success.
And I had to say what I was willing to sacrifice.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be a big sacrifice because I'm like foisting this upon you, so it doesn't have to be major.
I would sacrifice what's the word for that? I would sacrifice her looking like a fool in front of people.
Yep.
Looking really clumsy and being embarrassed in front of people.
So with this, Getting a 7 to 9, you've got an 8 right in the middle. It says the GM will offer you a hard choice or success with a sacrifice. So I'm going to offer you success with a sacrifice, which is you're not going to knock anything over, but in order to get sort of like you've maneuvered, but it's a bit of a like twist. You sometimes knock into things, and if you want to get closer, you're going to end up in Pam's vlog. So those are your options.
Okay. I think she might not register that she's going to be on Pam's vlog. She's too focused on what she's doing. So she sort of twists herself upside down to look at this thing to get, because she couldn't bend down. She's too tall. So she'd have to be upside down. So she doesn't register that like half of her ends up partially in the vlog because she's too focused on what she's doing.
Okay. So I'm going to pause there with your movement just for a moment and go to Pam and say, Pam, do you notice that you've gotten Kiara in your vlog?
Probably, but it takes a good few seconds before I notice that, oh, wait, Kiara's in the background. I need to turn the camera slightly so she's no longer in view. I'm sure nobody will notice.
I'm sure nobody will notice either. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Kiara. So Kiara, you have gotten nice and close to investigate. And you notice that definitely the seagrass around the like platform stone that it's on has definitely been bent over in ways that don't look like it's the normal currents. And there's definitely been a disturbance of type. And you think that you can maybe see a little bit of glitter or like iridescence against the stone on one side. What you think that is up to you. But there's definitely a sign that something to you, a sign that something has happened.
Okay. Kiara will wave over Vera if Alonza, because she's in Alonza form right now. If Alonza isn't doing anything else, Kiara will wave her over and go, "You see that?" Point at the glittery stuff.
Alonza would come right over and be like, "Yeah, what's up? You wanted to, oh, that's different." And Alonza notices the glittery thing, and would, because Alonza makes it her job to notice who's hanging around the harbor, would Alonza know off the top of her head any commonly occurring characters in the harbor who would leave this kind of residue?
Would you? That's a good question. Okay. I'm gonna say that there's a few suspects in terms of that. And you know that there is a couple groups of folks that are more they tend to be a little bit more highly decorated and have more glitter. There is a magnificent group of sea otter-like people who really love to dress up, and they love to coat their fur in glitter and iridescence. So you know that's the case. You would also know that the egg itself is a bit glitters iridescent at times, at least. So you would know that. You would also know that there is at least a couple manta ray humanoids that often leave kind of an iridescent residue on things when they are doing things, brushing up against stuff. And I mean, the other thing that you would know is that there's a lot of queer joy and a lot of some parts of the city every day is pride. So there might be some fabulous glitter anywhere at any time. And you would definitely know that to be the case of the area.
Okay, so I think Alonza would say, would convey all of this, but also would say that, would refer to the manta ray humanoids as mantas, because manta is the Chichewa word for fear, and I think it's cool, or scared. So would mention the mantas and the for some reason I want to call them the ottery sprays, but the ottery sprays and the mantas do this reminds me immediately of them. And I don't know, I mean, it could also be it's one of the things I love about this harbor, that there's always pride things going on. So maybe there was a pride party that came through here. I mean, look, like both of us have a certain glow, so anything can be iridescent, right?
That's true. I guess it
Um,
doesn't help us that much.
No, of course, no. I mean, it's such a good observation. I think you're so clever, but I think
Aw.
also that yeah, I don't think you give yourself enough credit for how clever and observant you can be. But anyway, so the iridescence, I think, is a good shout. And I think at this point, Alonzo would look around to see if there was anything that she could contribute to the discussion. Is there anything she notices in terms of suspicious peeps?
I don't think that in terms of like suspicious people around, people have kind of like come and like there's been some hubbub, but there's no one necessarily standing out as like no one's, you know, launching their way in quite the way Trudy did, for instance. And people are interested, but maybe not also it like Dot's gone inside, so like clearly whatever's happening, like if Dot's inside, the people generally feel like it must not be too much of a hubbub if she's fine with whatever's happened. So people are kind of like the you know, like the nervous chatter of the crowd kind of idea is definitely going down because Dot's gone inside, so things must be fine.
Okay, so I think because Kiara has just made what in Alonzo's opinion is a very clever observation, and wants to like be like, look at us, we're this cool crime fighting team. I think Alonzo would be, you know, like, well, I've been keeping an eye out, and I don't think anybody related to the culprit or culprits is around. I think they've all scattered. I think we need to go talk to some of the tour group, this Fred and Ted and Brent and whoever else. Yeah, should we do you think, should we do that? And like looks over at Pam as well to see if Pam is
Yeah, that was going to be actually my as a player was going to be my next question for Mari. How is the interview with Trudy going? How's that going?
Yeah, that's a good question. How is that interview going? Do I have any moves for this? Not sure. I'm not sure because I'm playing the troubadour, which is an entertainer, but seems to be more the musical type of entertainer by default. So I'm not entirely sure how. I guess
Go ahead.
I wonder if I can use like the limelight move is like when I'm performing, but it seems to be focused on music, even though my character Pamela doesn't really.
And so it doesn't have to be music. So
No.
for this, when you are, it's the idea is when you perform your music,
Yeah.
it's about whether someone's like getting into it or if they're like, it's basically about testing how well the crowd or the group is interacting. So in this case, it doesn't have to be music at all. So what you are doing
Okay.
is basically performing your art, which is you are charismatic, you are vlogging, you've got an eye for what's interesting, for what's exciting. You can you work really well with getting people to open up to you, at using whatever skills you have to do so. So that's what you're doing right now. So you can absolutely use this move.
Okay, in that case, should I roll first or should I read it first?
I suggest reading, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay, limelight. When you perform your music, or in this case, art, I guess, roll plus heart. On a 10 plus, choose 2. On a 7 to 9, choose 2, and the GM may ask you one question from the figure out a person move. Everyone in your audience learns the answer. And then there's the options I can choose from, which are rock out. Someone else is rocking out too. Take a string on them. Shout out. Thank your patron and take +1 forward. Shred. Release a mind-bending solo. You clear a condition. Kick out the jams. Pick a listener who finds inner strength. They clear a condition. Bring the noise. Call out the ugly truth about someone powerful and give your patron a string on you. Serenade. Become smitten with someone and present. Whoa, English. Wow. Become smitten with someone present and gain a string on them. There's like a bunch of options I can choose from, but
yes.
Yeah.
And so on a success, like on a 10 plus, you'll get 2 and
Yeah.
you can choose them. And on a mixed beat, you choose 2, and then I get to ask an uncomfortable question.
Yes, which everyone in the area, at least Trudy, Vera, and Kiara will know the answer to my to that question.
Yeah.
So
And then on a downbeat,
nothing happens.
Well, we'll see. You get XP for sure.
Yeah, that
and
definitely.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing happens, but nothing from this list happens.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's roll. That is a total of, wait, that's plus hearts.
Yes.
That's a 10.
Amazing. So you get to choose 2, and nothing, I was gonna say bad, nothing interesting happens.
Nothing. I mean, it's not nothing interesting, but Decisions. Okay, I guess that at the end, the second one I will pick, because chronologically, like at the end, I will definitely shout out my patron, which is just a fan base I have on social media. Just like, that's one thing. I will get +1 forward. I'm not sure where to note that down, but and I guess rock out in the sense of that Trudy is very focused on me in the sense of the interview I'm having with her. Does that make sense? That can I get this means I get a string on Trudy. Does that work? Strings on
Yes,
NPCs?
absolutely.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
And so what happens then is that you're going to have the ability to influence her or get her to help you out or whatever. So and this works works so well story wise, right? So you are performing your, and you've captivated her. So she has bought into Pastel Pamela. She's believing in that you are the next Finsation. You are going to be just amazing, and she's ready. So we're like, you've done your charisma is great, your heart is in it, you're rocking.
Yay. I'm just quickly noting that I have +1 forward, except for that I spelled it wrong, so now I need to oh well, doesn't matter. There we go. What else do I need? Well, is there anything I'm trying to figure out? Is there anything Pamela would do right now? So while I'm figuring it out, we maybe the other two have any ideas what they want to do, because I am not that good at improv, so I might need some time to think.
I think now might be the time where Alonza and Kiara sort of come up to Pam and Trudy with the suggestion of like, hey, maybe we go talk to the tour people from yesterday. Trudy, you know everybody. You're so amazing. Do you want to help us find these people? Sort of that idea.
So just to pause for just a minute to like explain what the +1 forward is, just in case people are curious. That means that on Pam's next roll, you get a +1. Like it's just a basically like you did really well. So it's like carrying momentum. So that's what a +1 forward is. Trudy is so excited to help you out on this. She's part of the vlog. She's in. She doesn't have her next tour until 3 p.m. so she's got some time, and she's happy to help. So she's in.
Nice. Then I turn to the other two. Where do we go next? Brent was the nearest person, right? Well, I think it's time we visit the muscle barn.
So Trudy is more than happy to lead the way. And she swims away, full of energy, excited to help. And the crowds just seem to naturally part for her. So wherever she's going, people just tend to like very casually like move out of her way. And so she's leading the way, and she's swimming towards this what looks like a giant red barn. And across the front it says Brent's Muscle Barn. And it's full of, there's like big windows in the front. And you are heading to a very exciting at least according to Brent, underwater athletic experience. But this is like, when I say it's a big barn, I mean like, Kiara, you're going to have no issues getting in. Like, not only does that front door open big enough for you, it would open big enough for you in your like fully grown form. It is huge. So we are heading into Brent's Muscle Barn.
Kiara will appreciatively just sort of float in through the door, not, being happy that she doesn't have to worry about her tentacles hitting the sides of the door frame.
And it is spacious inside. So this is going to be one of the areas where you actually feel like you don't really need to worry about bumping into things. Things are really spaced out. It's really, really tall. So even in your like more like vertical form, if we can call it that, because underwater angles are a bit different. In your more vertical form of like mostly standing tall, pretty much no problems anywhere. And there's equipment of all different sizes, including stuff that you think is probably for working out body parts that some of you don't have, right? So like whether there's like, like people of all different shapes and sizes come in here, and it's strength training. And then there's some kind of like underwater air tank that like people go in to like practice whatever they're working on, and it is huge and magnificent. But when you come in, Trudy is first, and you can tell that there's at least some people in the barn that recognize Trudy, right? Like they see her come in, and there's a variety of reactions here. Some people are just like, oh yeah, that's Trudy. Some people are like, Trudy. And like, but you can tell that there's at least a few people here who recognize her. And it's fairly busy. Think Saturday morning in a gym in terms of like a good group of people, but it's not like people aren't lining up at the machines. There's not a backlog. But yeah.
Well, Pam, do you feel like taking the lead? Or Vera, do you have anything to...
I was going to ask whether Trudy, because she enters first, whether she goes in a particular towards someone particular, and whether if it's not Brent, because I imagine we would have at least seen Brent around if he's a local, then whether that seems suspicious.
So when Trudy comes in, she actually just re-enters tour guide mode, which doesn't include any of the people around her, but you will potentially recognize Brent. He is helping spot someone who's working out. He is a fairly muscular humanoid, looking generally like a human as we understand them, with 2 arms and 2 legs and hands and feet that are in underwater shoes and in workout gear. He's pretty muscular, and he's actually like fairly small-ish. He's only about like 5 feet tall or so. And he's working away, and he is like dwarfed by his barn, right? So he is just absolutely like tiny in comparison to what he has built. And he's spotting someone, but Trudy goes right into tour guide mode. So what we have here is Brent's Muscle Barn, and this is just an extraordinary feat of athletic exhibition, really. Brent, you see, is actually, there's a little bit of a secret here, well-guarded secret. He's a were-whale. And so he has made an area that is large enough for him to occupy no matter which form he's in. And so welcome to the Muscle Barn. 15% discount if you sign up for my platinum tour package. And she starts going on. I'll save you she starts going on.
Okay, time to find Brent. That's just Pamela's. I'm not sure if she'd say that out loud. Yeah, she might say that out loud, actually. And just, while Trudy is rambling rambling on, Pam is just gonna look around and try to figure out who of these people is Brent. I'm not sure if she would. She's not necessarily the sporty type, so she probably doesn't come here very often. So I'm not sure if she knows who Brent is as like a person. She's heard his name, she knows his name, but who he is, no clue. So I'm just gonna look around and maybe ask a few people like, hey, who of these people in here is Brent, if anyone even is Brent in the first place?
Question. Would Kiara have seen Brent in his whale form?
That is very possible. In fact, one of the things that's fun is when you were talking about like the deep sea whale-like sounds, I was like, oh, Brent speaks this language. And it's very, very likely. I'll leave it up to you because I don't want to like tell you of any relationships that you don't want, but like Brent is when in whale form, he's a right whale, and he is fairly big and around, and is friendly. Like he's a really friendly guy. So likely if you consent to that, really likely.
Yeah. I guess maybe because he saw a new very large person move into Queen's Quay that he decided, you know what? This person's also big. Let's go swimming together at some point. Just as a like, hey, welcome to the neighborhood sort of thing. But not that they've hung out or anything, but like they've met before.
So when Brent introduced himself to you, what do you think, because it's up to you in many ways, like what do you think he would have told you? Did he tell you that he only spends half time in whale form? Did he say like, hi, come by the Muscle Barn?
I think he probably did, because, you know, people who have businesses they're proud of can't help but, tell people that they're proud of their business, which of course is totally a fine thing to do. So he would have told her, hey, I have this amazing gym, you'll fit, come by. And she would have been like, yeah, and then never came.
Okay. So this is your first time being here, but you know of it.
Yes,
Okay,
he's told me about it, but she's not been here before because she is petrified at the idea of working out in front of people.
Fair. Me too.
I think Alonza would have been here, but not in this form. So because as a spy type creature has definitely like staked out all the local businesses and had casual conversations with all the owners, but with all the proprietors and regulars, but not in this form.
Makes sense. So Pam has asked, like, who's Brent? Do either of you recognize Brent in human form? Like, Kiara, do you have any sense of like what human form Brent would look like?
I don't think so, but I think she's just going to make a loop around just very slowly and sort of look around at all the different people sort of awkwardly waving, trying to be like, Brent? It's
So
really awkward.
He's gonna recognize you because, again, size sees size and is like, and you are a bit remarkable. Like, you're not, the most remarkable, but again, he introduced himself once because he thought maybe you would fit, and like, so he's like, hey, I told you would fit.
Hey, yeah, you did. I could
So
go
are
through the
you-
door without hitting anything. It's amazing.
I told you. Mikasa is Sukasa. You're here. So are we gonna like get pumped? Like, are we here? Is this it? Saturday morning? Gonna do it?
Actually, I have a friend who's here vlogging with Trudy, and they'd like to talk to you. Is that okay?
And like you see his face go through many contortions as you say, I have a friend vlogging with Trudy. Bit stacked this morning, gotta say, got a lot going on. So you hit me up if you want to, like, but I gotta go.
Kiara will attempt to convince him by attempting to whisper quietly, but the whole gym hears it anyway because her voice carries too far. This is for Dot. She's asked for our help. Can you please? I promise I'll come to the gym. I'm sorry I didn't come before. I'm terrified. And she just sort of shrinks into herself a little bit.
Oh. Good morning, Trudy. Happy to see you. I hear there's some questions. And so Trudy just looks at Brent and has like completely forgotten at this point that we're on a mission, and is like, she like just kind of like looks at you all like, questions. Oh, well, these people had what was it? We were the egg.
I think at this point, Alonza would be very aware of the fact that Brent does not want to be on camera, and even though she also does not want to be in camera, she finds that suspicious. So I think she would kind of move in a way to like block Brent's way, and say, how long have you had this business here, Brent, was it?
Yeah, it's Brent. So you know, I was working on those gains at home, and I just really want to be stacked, you know, and it wasn't working for me. And you know, at night things are a little cramped. So built this place about like 10 years ago. Like about 10 years ago we've been here, and just really enjoying the size inclusive athletics movement.
That completely here for that. And you know, like some of my best friends definitely would. So anyway, my point is that Brent, if you've been here for 10 years, why did you suddenly want to be a tourist yesterday?
Well, you see, it's just like I really feel like I've kind of like got disconnected from the long drink. You see, like I've just been really focused. I've been really focused on the business, and I just really felt like I needed to see new things. And I don't know, like things are like popping up all the time, you know, the you just gotta sometimes you gotta like see, and like you gotta go with the flow again. So I just needed to like get in there, and you know that like you get in there with the tourists and you hear and you see, and like truly
Mhm.
has a way with people.
Sure.
And so I just really thought that maybe that would be a moment to like, you know, just get in with the people, and just feel it again, and see what people are looking for, and meet some new folks, and like, and
You don't meet new folks through owning a business in the long drink?
nah, I mean, most of these people been coming here 3 mornings a week for the last 5 years, and like, look at them. The gains show it, but it's not new business. No.
Did it work?
Huh. Yeah, did it
Go ahead.
work? Did you meet some fun people?
I did. I definitely I don't know that they're gym bros, but definitely met some cool folks. Definitely had like a good experience. The tour missed the whole party district, man, and like I don't know what was up with that, but that's usually you know, but you gotta, you know, it is what it is. You just gotta like take it and make the most of it. So I was doing that, and there were some people on the tour. Great time. I don't know if it's gonna pan out to get new folks, because it's just the next day. I mean, if the return on investment usually takes like, you know, some time, right? You got to work at it, and it was just the first try, so I don't know.
So Trudy, as you might know, hands out some vouchers for people to do fun stuff with after the tour. Did you get a voucher? Did you go do anything fun just after?
I gotta tell you, the gym not bringing in the cash to get the upgraded tour package, so did not buy into Trudy's
The
upper
voucher system.
echelon. Yeah.
Sure, I get that. I mean, there are those of us who can only dream of being in the upper echelons of
I'm just
Trudy's.
waiting for that thing that'll just like give me the money to just take it to the next level, right? And I just need some success. I just need some help. I just need, you know, it's gonna take off though. It's gonna like, we're just gonna like migrate to the next level of the muscle barn for sure. Yeah.
Your muscle barn's gonna get stacked.
Yeah. Yeah. You wanna,
Yeah.
we can and he's like trying to get you to get to a machine, right? Like you are a new client and he is ready to take you to the aquatic treadmill.
So I think the part of Alonza that can shapeshift would instantly add, it's like when a kid digs their heels into the ground, except much heavier, because they're just be like, suddenly Alonza weighs way more than anything her size and form should. And so he cannot actually physically drag her to a machine, but goes, so I'm quite happy with the stacking going on here. How about you tell us. So okay, so the thing is, out of character, would Alonza know of any kind of a pawn shop equivalent nearby where someone who needed an influx of cash into their business or anything else could perhaps take things that are iridescent and part of someone's heritage and pawn them off for cash?
Potentially. I mean, there's definitely pawn shops. There's and like, if you dream it, you can find it for the most part. So there's definitely that, especially sort of in like some of the like more party district areas. There's some pawn shops and things like that, for sure.
Okay, cool. So I think I would, Alonza would name drop one of the pawn shops just to see if it's like familiar to Brent. So be like, it's such a shame that you missed out on the party spots, because I really enjoy you know, stepping into like Gloria's gorgeous gadgets. It's great, and you know, it's got alliteration, it's got bargain deal sometimes, plus this one time that I was looking for a gym membership, as you might imagine, got one though, so not looking anymore. I pawned off some watches.
If you're looking to sell something, you want to go to Sand Dollars though. Like, I mean, I got to tell you, like, Sand Dollars is the place. You can like bring stuff in and they will not do you wrong, man. Like, you just need to go there. And then like, that's the place. I think like Gloria's fine, but Sand Dollars, bro, like that's where you want to be.
Been there recently?
It's a lot of personal questions.
I'm trying to connect with you, you know, before I can trust somebody with my form and helping me get stacked. I really often ask them deeply personal questions. It's just how I roll.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Brent is growing a little more like, you've said you have a gym membership somewhere else. He is checking out. So he's gonna like, he's done. So he's clearly like, you know, I like Mildred, it's really like, I gotta go help Mildred out. She is really like putting in the work today. She is jazzercising, and I just really need to go give her a hand. So good talking to you, and you know, and your friends here. Hey, looks at Kira. You wanna be here. You wanna be here. And like sees like Pam and the camera and is like, and if you ever want to like, you know, come by and show the world what Brent can do for you, I've got you, but I gotta go.
I do have a small out of character question for, well, about the conversation that's happened earlier, or well, they just ended basically. But was Trudy around to hear everything that Brent said about something missing, the party district, the tour not being as good as it's supposed to be, something. Was truly around to hear that critique.
She definitely, like, she was not paying attention. She heard her name, she heard something about the tour, she clued back in. So she watched and listened, but appeared, like, tried to make it seem like she wasn't watching and listening. But you would bet your bottom dollar that she heard every word.
Yeah, that's just what I was curious about, as like out of character, because yeah.
So I think it's a good point to take a 10-minute break. We're at about our halfway point, and we've finished up. Brent is off to help Mildred jazzercise her way to her best self. And so I think it's a good time to take a 10-minute break. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed your break, got a drink, stretched those muscles, went for a little swim, did whatever you needed to do. So when we last left our vlogging, flirting adventurers, we were just exiting a conversation in Brent's muscle barn, which Brent had thoroughly checked out of, having known that you are no longer a viable client. There we go.
So I think Alonza, who by the way is still Alonza, but it is way too warm in India for me to continue wearing the dupatta, so I'm going to just, anyway. So Alonza would have conveyed this information to Pam and Kiara if they weren't listening or were too far away to hear, that we should make our way to Sand Dollars, was it?
Sand Dollars was Brent's favorite pawn shop.
Because this person who has joined a tour group after 10 years of owning a business in the locality seems to say that that's a good place to get your money's worth, probably literally. And apparently they don't ask too many questions. So we should definitely check that out.
Sounds good.
What say you, friends?
So I heard Nev/Kara agree. Pam?
Yeah, let's check out that Sand Dollars place.
Okay. Are you inviting Trudy to go too, or is Trudy whichever's fine, but are you is Trudy going as well, or it's up to you? You're
I
leading
am
the
not
way as much
specifically
as she is.
inviting Trudy, so she
And
talks
I
a lot.
think
I am
she
the
had-
person who's supposed to talk.
I
I think she had a tour as well that she had to do.
I think
So
she would.
it might be sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that I think we need one of us to distract whoever is at the counter at Sand Dollars. Trudy would make a good distraction for anyone. But I think that if one of us is willing to be that distraction, then we can just leave Trudy here. What do you think? Pam, do you think you'll be able to distract whoever is at the counter with your magical social media mogul?
I can
magic?
certainly try. Not sure how well that would work, but hey, we'll see. If
Okay.
they're a fan, if they're a fan of mine, then I can definitely keep them busy.
I think what we can probably do is we enter the shop with you announcing a giveaway, whether or not it's real, and just be like, and we have tracked down our winner for something. And then you ask them a question that is innocuous, and then you don't have to give them anything, but you can still give them a chance to win a prize, like old-timey radio that, you know, mortal sailors used to listen to, or so I hear.
I don't know. Well, OOC, I have a move for this, but we'll get there when we get there.
Okay. So I think we're going to head to Sand Dollars, a classy establishment if there ever was one, and
I think before we go, I think under Brent's insistence, Kiara's gonna buckle and sign up for the for the muscle board. The cheapest package she's got, but she's gonna like she is gonna sign up. She just can't say no.
So Brent sees one of his associates swimming over, like you've kind of like made a motion or whatever, and he's personally going to come over, and he's excited. Amazing. I cannot wait to get pumped with you. And like, if you are interested, like in the later evening hours, I might be like a bit more your style. So if you want to, go for a swim later at night and, we can like jive a bit, I'd be really down for that.
I think it might be a little inappropriate to proposition a customer at the moment they're giving you money. So we'll see how that goes.
He like looks at you and he's like, absolutely, for sure. So I'm just gonna like, but I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to like do the thing. And yeah.
And she sort of gets
so
awkward again, like, will I still fit when I grow to my full size?
And is that like an external question or an internal pondering?
No, she does ask him, like, is it still gonna work if I'm like, because I might get more than double this?
We just have like, we totally have plans for bigger and better, and I promise you that we will make it work, because we are all about that size inclusive, and when we find a new size, it means we just need to grow to match it. So we are here for you.
Okay. Have a nice day. Good luck with Mildred. Bye. And she just sort of awkwardly, like, slowly slinks away. I mean, the movement is slow, but because she's so large, she ends up moving quite quickly through the water. It just feels slow as she slides through the water.
I think that Alonzo would definitely go and like glare at the guy who was just hitting on Kiara and be like,
and he's gonna be like, I see you too, and take off. So Trudy is quite happy to be left behind. Like, she's quite happy to be left behind. So she's gonna head out, unless any of you try to stop her or anything like that. She's off, and she's chatting away with people. The crowds are very naturally parting for her as she heads out, and she's heading in a different direction than you all are.
Could I just ask if she remembers or recognizes the elderly customer who wanted to skip straight to the egg?
Yeah, so go ahead, ask her what you want to ask her.
Trudy, so you said that that someone was super into, for whatever reason, the idea of skipping past the party district and going straight to the egg. Do you remember who they were? Do you know them? Are they from around here?
Oh, I don't, not someone I know, and I think, I know a lot of the people, but not someone I know, but it was like just a real sweetheart of a lovely old lady. And she told me that her name was Mrs. Monim, and that was what I knew. And she just really wasn't into like the party district, and that's fine. I did try to tell her that she should sign up for the seniors tour, but she seemed very insulted, and so we just put her on the regular tour and just did the detour. And Trudy aims to please, so we just did that. And she did tell me that she was staying at like one of the establishments, sort of like near the retirement district. And so, you know, she's there, as far as I know, but that's all I know.
Did she seem to know any of the younger clients on the tour?
No, she was there on her own, at least as far as I could tell. I mean, I do try to keep an ear out, you know, not anything, just, you know, I'm not nosy. I'm just trying to like you know, I'm just trying to understand what my clients want, what the tours are, what they need. And so that's you know, but just she wasn't really chatting with anyone. She didn't really seem like too interested in anything. She just, I don't know, she wasn't as interested as maybe I would be on one of my terrific tours, but each to their own.
People are weird. Just before you go, Trudy, and thank you so much for your time and your help. And I'm hoping we get to see you soon in case we have any follow-up questions about any of the tour packages. But do you remember where one might find Fred and Ted if they were people you found interesting enough to mention? Why was that?
I mean, they were really interested. They collect teapots. And so they were just really interested in a lot of the things that were, you know, like they just had a lot of questions, and a lot of it was about like antiques and stuff. And, you know, other than some of the people, we don't have a ton of antiques around, but they really like their antique teapots. And so they just had a lot of questions, and they were a bit notable because they were air breathers, which is great. But they were just noticeable for that reason. And yeah, so they mentioned that they were staying in the area for a while.
I hate to interrupt, but for some reason, when you whispered, it cut out for me. What did you say?
Air breathers.
Right.
And
okay.
she's not saying it in a like, she's not saying it in an insulting way. She's just trying to like note that they were air breathers without like causing like a like not a kerfluffle, but like she's a know-it-all. But
she's calling them air breathers, not mouth breathers.
Yeah. No, it's not an insulting term. She was just trying to like distinguish, while also trying to be like very like happy that they were there, but like they were, you know, they're older. They're like, you know.
Okay.
Okay. I have
head out.
Yeah, Alonso has no more questions for Trudy. I just wanted to make sure that Trudy would be around in case we need to ask her more things. Okay, cool. Let's go to sand dollars.
So you make your way through town, and you, following Brent's sort of description of where it was, and Sand Dollars is not necessarily the pawn shop you thought it was. It's actually more like a giant underwater yard sale. So it's not a building as much as it is like what we'd call like here in the UK, like a boot sale or something like that. Like it's people, but like people are selling things. But it's large, it's outdoors, it's sprawling in a way, and it ranges from everything. Like when you arrive, it ranges from things that look like good quality stuff to like people who are literally selling like old clamshells. Like it's a whole range of products, of people, of all of that. So and it goes on for quite a distance, just with goods spread out. Some people have proper stalls. They're there to be like salespeople. Some people have brought bags of things and have spread them out. Some things are floating away, and you can see people trying to like catch them and grab them and put them back in their like little area to sell.
So there isn't like a central place where you can go and sell your stuff and leave. You have to do the selling.
You can, if you want, you can like go into like sort of like the person who oversees it, and for a hefty charge, he will sell your things. He also is the one who sells the tickets to people to like set up. So he's there at the sort of like almost like front gate kind of feel, and also has like his own area.
So I just wanted to note that Alonza/Vera would have let her scales show, like even if the rest of the form is still kind of disguised, just because she has an angle that she thinks she can use to ask about the egg. But yeah, does anybody else have an obvious thing they want to do first?
I mean, aside from asking if they have seen the egg somewhere or the eggshell somewhere.
No, I mean, like, so as in, do you want to go straight to the proprietor, or do you want to like look around?
I feel like Pamela might go straight up to whoever the proprietor here is. And yeah, I kind of have a move for that, but go ahead, Nev. Go ahead.
Can I use the fact that Kiara is really tall and she can see over all the stalls and everything to see if she can see anything that resembles a giant golden iridescent egg?
Definitely. You're not going to be able to see like everything, but you have a way better perspective than most people. And you can for sure use that to your advantage.
Okay, what do I see?
So, you don't see anything that looks like what you know the egg to look like. For scale comparisons, it's like a large egg. Like we're not dealing with like small. So, I say egg, it's eggshell. We know that. Egg is shorter. So you don't see anything that looks like that. You do see a number of places sort of nearer to the like front gate that are selling like things that glitter that catch your eye. So there is definitely people who are selling jewels and jewelry, and kind of like it looks a bit more antique-y as far as you could like see from that far away, a bit more of an older style for sure. And there's people who are selling some like gold rimmed ceramics and things like that, that like when you're trying to like quickly scan the field and look for like glittering objects or things that would be like catch your eye, you note those, but nothing that looks like an egg.
Okay. Then we can follow Pam to what Pam wanted to do.
I mean, if it's kind of like if you tell me that the eggshell isn't around here, then Pam is like, okay, then asking maybe won't help, but maybe it was here.
I mean, I can't see under the roofs and I can't see in people's bags, so who knows?
So I think maybe we can, instead of asking if they've seen anything like it, I think I would like to pretend to be a customer. So Alonza says this to Pam and Kiara, and if you're okay with it, I'm gonna pretend I'm looking for something that looks like that egg. Okay, Kiara, does that sound good to you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kiara's just gonna kind of awkwardly hover above because the little alleyways between this market stands are way too small for her to fit through. So she's just gonna kind of awkwardly hover over some of the stands, and she's gonna move towards where she saw the more glittery antique-y stuff and sort of just look around, just being a distraction by virtue of being a giant squid hanging over this market.
Hey, the bigger you are, the more beauty there is to go around in the world. Anyway,
and I imagine her blue bioluminescence is like sparkling off of some of the silver and stuff that she's hovering over as well. So it's causing a bit of a distraction. That's what I'm doing, is I'm causing a distraction.
You are also distracting Vera, who is anyway distracted by you, but is like, how can they think that they are not appealing? How can they not realize their appeal? But anyway, so Alonza marches towards the proprietor, who she thinks the proprietor is, and having confirmed that it is in fact the proprietor, will say, hi, excuse me, I'm not really familiar with this place. Can I ask you, I'm looking for something very specific. Can I ask you? Okay.
Absolutely.
So as you may have noticed, I'm of Rachtha descent. So when she says this, it's, I think in general, it would be more known that that is kind of anything with lizardy scales would be that descent. So so she says, yeah, so I'm of Rachtha descent, and we have a humongous family reunion coming up, and I would absolutely love to give my grandmother something that celebrates our heritage. Do you have anything like that? She quite enjoys the Fabergé eggs that we sometimes find in these shipwrecks, but I would rather like something that is more personal to us. Do you have anything like this?
So he ponders for a moment. It's not Fabergé, but I do know that something moved through yesterday. And I had nothing to do with it. But if I were you, I might want to head towards the back. And there is someone who is selling an awful lot of I would say art, a lot of art that has a lot of varied history. And you're going to go back a good like and he sort of like thinks for a minute, he's like a good like 2/3 down the field, and it's like on the left hand side, and you can't miss it because it's like there's tons of art there, there's sculptures, there's things like that. And a knowing person might know that something passed through that way yesterday.
If I were to be someone who is in the know, what name might I use to ask about such a piece of art?
So the person that you are going to want to talk to, that's what so the person you're going to want to talk to is this lovely person named Wyatt. And they will be able to give you a sense of where you might be able to find such a piece of art.
You have been a great help, and I will be sure to send all my friends here. This has been very helpful. Thank you. And sort of regally, Alonza leaves towards where this person gesticulated, and goes kind of. I'm assuming Pam is with Alonza at this point, right?
Maybe. At least Pam, in the meantime, has just been looking at the stalls and stuff near where everyone is just gathered, I guess, of our group. It's like Pam has just been kind of, I guess, window shopping, except for she's just been looking at everything and not necessarily buying anything yet, but she's like, ooh, that's nice. Ooh, nice jewelry. Ooh, shiny. Sees her own flames reflected in every single metallic thing and goes like, ooh, shiny.
My friends are so pretty. I wish I glowed. Anyway, so I'm going to, so basically Alonza wants to go and get Kiara and Pam's attention to kind of be like, I'm going this way. I think because because of Kiara's form, they would probably be a good like what do you call it, when you kind of block people in. So if Alonza and Pam are like coming up to this Wyatt's stall, then like I think Kiara should be nearby, but like in a way that's able to block their Wyatt's rapid exit if he should choose to make one.
Yeah, I mean, Kiara is gonna just continue to pretend like she's window shopping from above and just slowly sway her way in the direction that following, not directly following, but sort of in the direction that Alonza and Pam are going. And yeah, she's got tentacles she could just slap down in the way in front of the door if she needs to.
So versatile, this being. Anyway, so okay, so as we're making our way towards the stall, Alonza fills Pam in on what she's found out, and so I would say like we get to the stall that we think the guy was talking about.
Okay.
We both, I guess, look around for someone of a Wyatt-esque shape.
Yeah.
So it's easy because Wyatt, like there's only one person. They are at least they are like I needed more words to talk about how we like this is a footage person on the ground. There's so many options here, but yeah, so they are a footage person on the ground. And about 10 feet tall, and is entirely green. They are a bit sort of like tall and like lithe, or like very sort of like moves very easily in the water, despite sort of being one to like not swimming in the water. And they look at you and they say, well, it looks like you're on a mission.
Alonza looks at Pam as if to convey that I'm going to sound different, but I think Pam is probably used to Alonza's shape-shifting, so might not be phased by it, and is going to go, yes, actually, this gentle being that I spoke to somewhere over there suggested that I speak to a Wyatt. Are you a Wyatt?
I am them.
Right. Well, Wyatt, so pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm looking for something special. As you can see, I am of the glorious Roktha descent, and I would like to find a present for my grandmother, for I'm going to see her soon. She quite enjoys Fabergé eggs, but perhaps something more closer to our heritage would be better, you know?
No, actually, I don't know. But I'd have plenty of art here. I've got plenty of things that I could might interest you in. So we do have some. We're looking for something maybe that is a bit more unique, let's say.
Oh yes, unique is always better, isn't it?
Yeah, so we definitely have this glorious painting here, and they gesture to one of the large ones.
And Alonza's just going to, as soon as he starts to gesture towards a painting, Alonza's going to be like, no. Roktha don't live in, we clearly don't know, but it's not easy being green. I suppose I should explain. You see, Roktha don't live in places that have walls. So a painting is going to be unnecessary clutter. I'm looking for something that I can affix to a floor, this glorious seafloor, and I really do something.
Unnecessary clutter.
Indeed.
Unnecessary clutter.
Mind you, I'm not saying so. I have some of my best friends even enjoy a good painting, but I cannot be said to be in the market for one today. I'm looking for something for my grandmother, after all. It is very specific. I did say something that might be perhaps egg-shaped would be lovely.
So as you say egg shape, you watch their eyes narrow, and give you a bit of a look. I don't know what you could be talking about, because here we only have these sculptures, these paintings. I mean, here we only have such unnecessary clutter. I don't think your grandmother would want anything from here.
So I think when he says that, I'm not sure how this would work in this game, but I think Alonza would want to try and I guess, is it entice, or would it want to like kind of?
So it can be, if you're trying to persuade, entice is what you're trying to do. If you want to try to like get a better understanding and maybe get some information about them, figure out a person can work.
Okay.
Those would be the two I would suggest. If you really want to, do something extravagant, we can also go there.
I think I will try and figure out person to try and make it quicker, trying to figure out what they want.
Yep. And so, go ahead.
No, please tell me how that works.
Yeah. So with figure out a person, you're going to roll and add your wit. And on an upbeat, you can ask 2 questions now or later in the scene. You don't have to ask them right away. And if you get a mixed beat, then you can ask them 2 questions, but they also get to ask you a question that you have to answer honestly. As I say, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just outright lie. This is a like trading situation. And then on a downbeat, you get your XP and something interesting happens.
Okay, so I'm using wit, you said, right?
Yeah.
So I got a 10.
Oh, you all are rolling very well today. So you just get to ask 2 questions now or later. Let me know when you're asking those specific questions, because you get honest-ish, like, truthful answers.
I think I would like to use one of them now. So I would like to ask, and I would look, so Alonza would drop the disguise from her eyes, so they would glow. They are maroon, but they would also glow slight gold, and like lean closer and be like, "Look, Wyatt, this is really, really important to me. Sometimes I forget that I'm speaking to people unlike myself, and I end up saying the wrong thing, and then everything goes to hell. Tell me what it would take to find something really, really special for my grandmother. Honestly, the last time I met her, I said something. I made a verbal misstep in front of her as well. I think I insulted her like I've insulted you today, and tell me what it would take. I want to make it right.
I think if you are trying to find the thing that your heart most desires, sometimes the most important thing is to give it away, to someone you love to someone, I can understand the desire to want to impress a loved one, and I too maybe have wanted to give a treasure to a loved one, in hopes that I could maybe win their heart. But I must say that the thing you are looking for was once in my possession to give, and has been given with my heart.
Okay. I'm going to use the second question now. I'm going to say, and to whom might you give your heart, Wyatt? Do tell.
Her name is Heather, and she is simply the most beautiful, wonderful woman that I have ever seen. And the way that the water flows along her, and the way that, oh, she just captivates me with her look, and and they get wistful for a moment just thinking about their beloved, their betrothed.
This person sounds incredible, and you are clearly very lucky to have them in your life. Where might one make their acquaintance? This person sounds like someone to be friends with, for sure.
I'm not so foolish as to give you the directions so that you may try your wiles with my beloved, because she has something that you want. You would definitely have to go through me in order to get to her.
Alonzo's going to shift form.
What does that, tell us about that? And before you get there, I'm going to pause on you. You can tell that Alonza, so Kiara and Pam, you can tell, you know her well enough to know that like shit's about to go down. Let's cut to the two of you for a minute.
Well, Pam has kind of been not standing next to Vera, Alonza, whatever. Whatever I should call her right now, because shapeshifting and multiple identities can get confusing. But yeah, Pamela has been standing at a bit of a distance, but definitely within earshot, even though she doesn't have ears because she's fire. But she has been listening and kind of looking, but trying not to be too suspicious, in the sense of not, but like when she notices that shit's about to go down, so to say, she will begin approaching, I guess.
Okay. And are you approaching? Do you have your camera out? Are you filming? Are you like, what are you approaching to do?
I was filming, but when I see that my friend's in trouble, I will probably stop recording and just move over to make sure like Farah's okay. Because I know she doesn't want to be on camera, so I won't get them on camera. I don't care about Wyatt. They can do whatever, but I don't want, if my friends don't want to be on camera, I will try my best to not get them on camera.
Sure. And Kiara?
Are they inside? Are they under a roof?
Not particularly. Their wares are some at least under a roof, and they're like, things are standing up. It's a little cluttered, but not too bad. They have moved out, and especially have now sort of stepped out towards, so not under a roof, and like not too crowded, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Does it look like he's they are getting aggressive with Alonza, or is it that Alonza is freaking out over something they said?
Alonza, it looks like Alonza's freaking out over something that they've said. However, I will say that like said footed person definitely has stopped they have been a little bit moving with the current, moving with the movement of the water. They have become noticeably more sort of like set, less movement, but not necessarily aggressive, haven't like, made a show of it.
Okay, let's see. What would Kiara do? Can I? No, that I don't think we have time for that. I was gonna try and do my divination move, but it says when you have time and safety. We don't have that right now.
We don't. You can. It depends on what you want. Like you're not in imminent danger. So I'm happy for you to play with that. Like I'm happy to say that give it enough wiggle room. It's not like you're in the middle of a battle, so you have relative safety and a sense of time. There's no urgency. You don't have a 3 p.m. tour.
I think I'll go slightly different and give Marcus a moment to shine because he hasn't done anything. I think when Kiara sees emotions are about to flare up, they just sort of drop, encourage Marcus to just drop down and sort of be distracting and cute. Which to her cute, to most everyone else, a giant rainbow squid that is rainbow shrimp that is dog-sized is somewhat alarming to suddenly show up. And it just sort of drops, and he just sort of drops down and starts scuttling around, like sniffing around stuff in between Vera and Wyatt, just as a distraction to be like, hey, let's she's trying to de-escalate it by distracting them with something completely out of nowhere, sort of. And then in addition to that, she's going to attempt to see I lost my train of thought immediately. Wow. Thanks, brain. Let's just start. Okay. Let's just go with what happens when Marcus drops down.
So this is just to ask in terms of mechanics, is this your eerie companion moment?
Yes, this is my eerie companion moment.
Perfect. Just wanted to be clear. And so that's like a just for people who might be curious, that's a move within the type of character that Kiara is, where you have an eerie companion. Perfect. Wyatt is like immediately like, if you think that they stiffened before, now they have ultra stiffened, but this time in like shock, almost fear, like alarm for sure, because there is a giant shrimp, which is fine, but alarming, and like has totally stiffened.
And from above, Wyatt will hear Kiara's unintentionally rumbling voice. Oops, sorry. He just wants to have a look around if that's okay.
He's no.
His name's Marcus. He's really nice.
Marcus. Great. Welcome, Marcus. And that has totally distracted Wyatt. So I was gonna ask, is Vera also startled? Like, are you do you know what's happening? Have you seen this before? Like, obviously you know who Marcus is, but does this startle you too? Or are you like, yes, Marcus is here?
I think for the moment, I'm gonna say, I think Vera is certainly less startled than Wyatt, but still kind of startled because since she was trying to shift form, she was kind of concentrating on that rather than kind of keeping her wits about her as to what creature was bounding towards them. So yeah, I think because basically you see that like Vera's scales had started to kind of bend inward and like have little spikes start to come out, but then they stop. Like, so she looks like a sea hedgehog almost, kind of. And then they go back in before Wyatt can notice the change.
Okay, so Wyatt is alarmed. The situation is somewhat de-escalated. What now?
I feel like maybe Pam would be good at this, but I don't know if Pam wants to do this or Alonza can do this. Let me know what you think. But I would say that we would try and get his equivalent of a cell phone, so that we can maybe call Heather or text Heather and be like maybe take like a quick kind of reel of this rainbow shrimp playing with Wyatt, so that maybe she comes here.
I think I have something for this. If Wyatt allows me to ask for a little favor, I guess. I have this move named Shooting Star, which reads as follows. When you need something from an NPC you have never met before, you may declare that they are a fan. They will give you what you want, so long as it doesn't endanger their life or values. The NPC will demand some small favor like an autograph. If you don't grant the favor, you take a condition.
Okay.
And if Wyatt happens to be a fan of mine, which they actually might, because I get to say so, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just approach them and try to be like, hey, relax, it's just a big shrimp. There's really not, there's weirder things out here. Have you never seen like a giant shrimp? Is that weird to you? But
I mean, some might argue that I'm a weirder thing.
Yeah, but relax. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with this situation, don't worry. Also, would you, well, I think I've seen, wait. Oh no, my brain is forgetting words. Shit.
Okay.
I was going somewhere, but then my brain was like, nope. Oh no.
So what you're doing is
I'm trying to calm him and then just try to convince him essentially in some way to let him take a photo with his phone, or either of him with the shrimp or kind of like of him and Pamela, like a selfie thing. But she's just asking for his phone because Pamela clearly doesn't have her phone on her. If phones even exist, yeah, they exist. Underwater phones, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, before
so
taking oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so you're asking what you are asking for in this, like you can ask for what you want, is a selfie or a photo with the like a
with Wyatt and the shrimp. Yes.
Okay.
And my plan is before I ask Wyatt, if Wyatt gives me their phone, and
Absolutely.
before I make the actual photo, I will try to search for the photo app and just kind of basically I just try to figure out who this Heather person is for a moment, if that works out. Sneaky, not very sneaky, but yeah, that's all.
So Wyatt hands over their phone and is excited to have Pastel Pamela capturing the experience. And the favor that Wyatt is going to ask for you is that they would love to see if maybe we can work out some cross promotion and have some stuff feature maybe on your Fabu feed sometime, if that would be okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure we can work something out. I'm sure. Yes.
Marcus just waves a little punchy fist. Because if you didn't know, rainbow shrimp punch really hard.
Rainbow shrimp are freaking adorable, and I was so excited when you picked one. Anyway. Okay. Okay. So Heather's in Wyatt's shell phone, no problem there. And little heart emojis, all of the things. So there you go. You've got that.
Is her address listed there too? Or just her phone number?
You would know that part of what is listed is that she too actually has a stall in sand dollars with this which is Z, by the way, sand dollars, and you know, like, for sake of like ease, you will be able to find her in this sprawling boot sale.
All right. Well, thank you again, Wyatt, was it? Yeah.
Wyatt is totally shell-shocked by the experience, just to say, like, whatever just happened. Okay.
Yeah. See, no need to be afraid of the big shrimp. But yeah, thank you for your time, and I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. And
Have a great day.
I accidentally muted myself.
Can I just comment that everyone's undersea puns have been on point this entire time? I have been just holding in laughter multiple times where I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. Well done. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I accidentally muted myself while talking, which happens more often than I like. But yeah, I'm just, I will, if the others haven't picked up on it yet, I will just wave to them kind of as after Wyatt is doing their own thing again, probably, so they don't notice me walking away with the person who was trying to potentially get the eggshell from them.
Yeah, Kiara will also be a bit more subtle and let Marcus sniff around a little bit longer. And then once he's like satisfied his curiosity, she'll just lower a tentacle for him to, clamber back up.
I think now that Alonza has calmed down a little bit, would follow Pam off, muttering like, wiles. You couldn't handle my wiles. And then like follow Pam.
We love a punchy one.
To follow Pam to Heather's feathers, because that's what she says.
There we go, Heather's feathers. So you easily make it there through the labyrinth, and you meet Heather, who is mostly manatee, to be honest, and she is really excited to have you by, and it's clearly it's not you're just customers, so
yeah. So as we approach Heather's stall, I would I think say basically that I am planning my wedding, and oh my God, are you Heather?
Well, howdy do. Yes, I am.
Oh my God, you are absolutely even lovelier than Wyatt said you were. It's amazing. I think, do you have anything that I could use for my upcoming wedding? I mean, I'm getting married too soon, and I love Wyatt was just telling us all about all his little gifts to you, and
Oh my goodness, dearie, he just gave me a gift yesterday that you would not believe. Oh my goodness, it was stunning. It was emerald, it was glittering. And that was when I knew I was going to marry that one. They are just the one.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine. Can you, I mean, honestly, I kind of want to take a photo of it so that I can show my fiance or someone I want to be fianced with what they might use to ask for my tentacle in marriage. So perhaps you could you show me? As you can see, I often wear a lot of green, and even though like you can't you can't if you haven't been paying attention, you wouldn't know, but like Alonzo's entire outfit has turned emerald.
My goodie, I can absolutely show you, but I gotta tell you, you ain't gonna be wearing this one. This is not something that you're gonna be. And she pulls you back, and behind the stall, there's a giant tarp. At this point, you are recognizing how large this eggshell is. And she whips the tarp off, and there it is, laying on the sand in all of its glittering glory. Well, look at this. Look what he just gave me. I just had this wonderful thing today, and they are just the light of my life.
Oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. Pam, do you wanna get this for your stream?
I was actually planning on doing so. Even if you, well, out of character, even if you hadn't asked for Pam's day, she would just sneakily be like, camera footage of the eggshell's whereabouts.
Well, while they're distracting Heather and taking pictures and stuff, can I do the sort of not exactly wail, but like long distance noises to Dot to be like, hey, I'm over here, please come, you need to see this.
Absolutely.
It's
And-
really loud, like everyone in this area can hear her do this, but she looks so like she's just like picking up items to look at them, and like she looks like a shopper, and then she sounds like a whale. It's weird but non-threatening. It's just loud.
The ocean, the surrounding sea fills with your song, and just like that, a giant sea monster is swimming in all of her fury over to here. Like you, she mostly is above as opposed to down below because things are a bit crowded, but she has arrived and is delighted.
At this point, sorry, I had myself muted. At this point, Kiara will bend down to look at Heather and go, I'm sorry to tell you this, but that egg is stolen. It belongs to Dot here.
And Dot is going to be like, oh, and Heather is going to be like shocked, saddened, like she's got no idea what's happening. Dear me, did you say that this belonged to you? And Dot just like nods, and there's like a tear, and she's like, I'm so sorry. It was just given to me as a gift, and I had no idea. But it was given to me, and my Wyatt asked me to marry them, and I said I would, and it was given to me. But if this belongs to you, then you need to have it. And Dot has heard the story about how this has been a proposal gift. And she looks at Heather. At this point, with the sonic boom of whale song, Wyatt has also made their way over. And you discover that Wyatt also didn't know that this was stolen, had bought it, had immediately fallen in love with it, and they wanted to give it to their betrothed. And Dot sort of looks at you all and says, my goodness, I can't believe that you have found this perfect, wonderful piece of my family. But maybe it has a new life now. maybe it is the promise of, in the way that we were the promise. And she turns to Heather and says, will you keep it safe? Will you hold it close? And Heather says, oh, my dear, I have never loved anything the way that I have loved Wyatt. And this token of their affection, oh, that you would also let us keep it, despite the fact that we have no right to it. That means a great deal.
Alonza would look extremely uncharacteristically touched.
Aw.
But since it is an artifact, it's yours, but perhaps you could still occasionally lend it to put it on display for the history of Queen's Key. It is such an essential part of the history of this place, after all.
And that sort of like twigs in Heather's of like, and like, because she knows who Dot is, and says, oh my goodness, is this part of your beautiful sculpture garden? You know, there's no one who loves art the way Wyatt and I do. And I do think that might be a nice place for it to be so that we could all still see it.
And we can put a wedding plaque with your names on it under the egg. How does that sound?
Dot, if we could do that, that sounds like just such a perfect idea. And Dot's like clearly like underwater tears floating in all directions, just like having like happy crying her way through life. And she is delighted at this idea, and turns to Heather and Wyatt and says, if you like, you could even marry in the garden, surrounded by all the art that you love so much. And they agree. I feel like we're wrapping up quickly, but we are sort of near the end, so I'm maybe speeding up the narration a little bit. Yeah. So congratulations, you found the egg, which I wasn't sure was going to happen. Heather and Wyatt invite the three of you to attend their nuptials, which will be happening, I don't know, at some point in the near future. Dot is really excited to have tea for everyone. And you're all invited to be a part of the nuptials of Heather and Wyatt in the sculpture garden of Dot. So congratulations. It wasn't for sure that you would find the egg. Congratulations, you found the egg.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
Life goal.
That was so sweet.
I almost cried at the end. I could feel my eyes starting to like produce tears, but they didn't in the end. But
Yeah, I mean, Alonzo was just like, or Vera rather, was like going to say to Kiara as they were floating away from the space, just like, I didn't know you were such a romantic.
Aww.
And Kiara just blushes, not knowing what to say, which is purple, but it's very clearly a blush. And I was going to ask, do we get epilogues? Is there time for that, or do we need to wrap
We're
up?
pretty tight on time. So you can have like a sentence of epilogue each if you sort of want to like wrap up your stories a little bit. And then we'll do some quick who we are's and head out. So just to say, like, from my part, Brent is forgiven for his thievery, and the muscle barn is bigger and better in order for Kiara to grow into it should she want to. And Wyatt and Heather do in fact have their nuptials. All is well in the Queen's Key. What about you all? Anything?
I think I think Alonza normally by this time would have moved to another harbor, but given that she has found family now in the Long Drink and has maybe feelings for some people, and maybe they want to act on it. I don't know. Then they will stick around, and they will, however, keep shifting forms so that people don't get used to Alonza as a regular fixture, because you can't do that to people.
Kiara continues to grow taller. Slowly. Very, very slowly. She has a very long lifespan. She's still early 20s version of giant squid. She does in fact start enjoying going to the gym. But she does like make the whole thing of like, look, I'm going to your gym. It would be really awkward if we were flirting and dating, so I'm happy to go for a swim, but it feels a bit weird. So sorry,
Brent's
but
cool
no.
with that. Brent's cool with that.
But she does enjoy going for swims with him because he's one of the few people who is the same size and can keep up with her. And also realizes maybe that Vera is sticking around for a reason and is maybe starting to figure out what that reason might be.
Aw, amazing. And Pam?
Pam is, yeah, she keeps on doing the vlogging, streaming, whatever social media thing. Probably has, well, more than one collaboration with Wyatt and their artsy creations.
You made like 3 new business partners today.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Yeah, many new business thingies. Yay. And yeah, she will probably still do stupid stuff, like I'm not sure what she does. It doesn't necessarily bring anyone in danger, but it's just not necessarily the smartest decisions to make. But yeah. I mean, she's fire underwater. How does that even work?
How does any of this work?
I mean, yeah.
And so who are you and where can we find you all, my lovely players? Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'd love you to give yourself a little shout out. Purna, how about you?
Okay, I am Purna. I have played Alonza/Vera today. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on the internet, or specifically Twitter, as @Purna Mazumdar. I am a writer, editor, and hopefully donner of other hats in the ttrpg realms. And if you really loved us, give money to charity. Okay, bye.
Mari?
Well, I'm Mari. I played Pam today. My pronouns are they, them, and during the stream I noticed that my social media username on the overlay is spelled differently than it should. But yeah, you can find me at, well, it's a Dutch word. How does this work actually?
It's in the chat actually. The correct one is in the chat.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, check the chat for that, because I had no clue how to pronounce my name in English, because it's a Dutch word. How does it work in English? Oh well, never mind. Check out the links in chat for my socials and the socials of the others.
Thanks, Mari. And Nev?
Yeah, hi, I'm the Never Squid, your friendly neighborhood squid person, and I am an artist, VTuber, TTRPG performer, mod. I wear many hats, and I'm in many TTRPG communities. Today, I'm happy to be also your mod for this lovely charity weekend. I am at the Never Squid on all the social medias, and I do mean all of them, even though I don't use, most of them are inactive. I do have them, and my pronouns are she, they, and I've had a lot of fun today. Thank you, Gemma.
Thanks, Nev. And I am Gemma, or Games Mistress with a Y, because everything's really gay with me, everywhere on all the socials. And I am a crafter and a TTRPG lover of many forms, and raising money with TTRPGs is basically my favorite thing to do. So this was amazing. If you like the Queen's Key, I'm going to be releasing it as a setting for TSL later this summer for free, or for donation. And so it's a big expansive world. If you want to play in it, watch my socials. And again, it'll be for free. So just if you love it. And really just donate today. I'm so excited to be a part of this. And the most important thing is that we support charity, support queer people. Remember that trans rights are human rights. There is no LGB without the T. And that's it for me. Thank you all so much for being here.